Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcoming you all back to another episode of Disco Elysium. Last we left off, we did a little bit more exploration of the Jamrock Quarter. I had a... Who did I talk to? Joyce, that's her name. I forgot her name all of a sudden. I talked to Joyce about our victims' tattoos, and it's some kind of map, in a sense. Basically, we talked about it. It was a spiritual thing that if the body dies, the soul can use the map to go home and whatnot. Very spiritual, and I won't knock it. I actually like that spiritualistic idea. I really do. And also, I finally looked up the word pornographically. Now, definition-wise, pornographically does not necessarily have to correspond with sexual imagery, although since it has the root word porn in it, everyone just thinks sexual. But no, it doesn't have to be sexual in nature. It just means so explicitly poor. It's like so unfortunate. Well, okay, not unfortunate. It's like so egregiously poor, so explicitly poor. It's like it's obvious, so obviously poor, I would say, yeah. Because explicit content, like, it's so obvious what it is. It's obvious content. Although explicit also has the undertone of, you know, X-rated movies, R-rated movies, that kind of stuff, whatever. But anyway, that's enough about the word pornographically that I finally looked up. I almost dropped my mic box. If you guys heard that, I'm sorry. And now let's talk to this man and child. I will assume father and son. Hello, what can I do for you?
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kituragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
The lieutenant nods. Wait a minute. Do you two know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
The boy... He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
Worms, okay.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
I mean, he really does sound well-spoken, like proper and well-spoken, I will admit that.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Huh. What's exactly so fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes, springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Oh, really?
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
To be honest, I don't think I've heard of this Feld Electrical Company before.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
Huh. And what was that, Ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
And what happened?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
Huh. So you're saying that Feld Electrical built this area, this boardwalk?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
And what exactly happened to the engineers, and the rest of the company people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
You know what? Who am I to just tell Mikhail the dark truth? Especially when he seems like a... He seems a bit young to... I mean, wiping his nose on his sleeve and hiding behind the tailcoats of his dad's jacket. He's a little kid. Then again, some people will argue that you don't sugarcoat things with kids. They're gonna learn about it later anyway. But... Yes, tape computers, right. That's my belief. It's like, and I'm a stranger. If his father chooses to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to introduce the idea of death to a strange child. So,
Tape computers.
He nods, wind tussling his suit jacket. So, how did these tape computers work? Are they like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something. So it's an actual computer that runs on tape. How is that exactly supposed to work? I mean, it's going to record information as it is inputted? Electronically? I don't know.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little Freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team, trying to.
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center?
What is this, like Humpty Dumpty had a great fall?
What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
Wait, I'm sorry. The, Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center? Paul Ackerman, Keith, and Guy Juiced? What are you talking about?
The Womty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to.
Wait a minute. There really is no such place called the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center of Arts, is there?
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
In fact, I'm not. The Womty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
He clears his throat.
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Okay, cool.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
The failed playback experiment.
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the felt playback experience, but those are incorrect.
And why exactly did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
He takes a step back. The boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. Well, accident or not, the fact remains that the revolutionaries occupied this building. Sounds to me like they wanted something to do with those advanced tape computers. What do you think they wanted them for, if that were the case?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Decret de Mars.
Le Decret de Mars.
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year '02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans le Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Wait, I had to look back at... There was a lot of things going on. This man is well-spoken and very knowledgeable about, basically, I suppose, trivia questions. So, is a computer that runs on tape that, if I remember, analyzes handwriting and perform operation. So, on a piece of tape, you would write something. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution that the computer would then read and perform certain functions as noted on the handwriting. Sounds a bit... What's the word? Sounds a bit much. I mean, when you compare it to the computers that we have now, you're literally just... Same thing, but it's electronically with a keyboard. EAT. eat, and then just, it's like computer functions, but on tape. Well, I suppose if you're doing like spy stuff and then you had a similar computer that can do the same processes, you can just carry the tape with you and essentially, hey, here we go, input this command on this computer halfway around the world. So I suppose it works. Then again, we have flash drives, which probably performs kind of the same function. It just doesn't execute without a human. Well, then again, the tape computer, the tape itself, won't execute without human input. So, yeah, I suppose it's the same thing as using a flash. The tape is a flash drive, and the system in which to read the flash drive, or in this case, the tape, is the computer. Okay, I see where it's going. See, kids, when you talk the problem out, it becomes less confusing. Provided you're open-minded and don't get stuck on the fact you're confused. Anyway, I wanted to ask something else.
But of course. What else?
Well, I'm here looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around the past couple days?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
He pats his son's head.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Huh. Alright. Thank you so much for all that interesting information. It was very nice.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
Yeah, he did say a lot of things. Like, a lot of things. Oof.
The bow collector.
Oh, yes. I forgot I was doing this. I really, really did.
It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. The sparks light her face. A delicate composition of triangles. The streets seem to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shapes growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you, carrying your signals. The holy messenger.
Wait, what? +3 shivers, the third presence. Okay, so I guess I delve a bit more into the creepy stuff. It's early in the morning, the world is dark blue, sparks light her face. So we're talking about a figure. Okay. A delicate composition of triangles. Street seems to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. So, kind of like in a weird, Silent Hill-esque thing, I suppose. and then there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shape growing smaller and smaller, as the street inevitably grows longer and longer. Something that has always been there. It! A great see-through world, a tenderness you feel, the ghost of... Okay, yeah, when I'm reading it myself, the guy kind of reads slowly, so it's hard for me to grasp what he's saying. When I read it myself at my speed, then it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, the slower reading kind of... I get it's to accentuate the words, and it's the style of the game, but sometimes the slow reading destroys my brain, and it's like, what did you just say? Bonus, 3 shivers, yay! I mean, I'll take it. Do I have much of a choice? No. Volition is fine. Learning, that is fine. All psyche caps raised by 1. That's cool. Oh, this is the thing that gives me, when I take speed, I get one psi. Which I suppose is great because my psi sucks, so... if I end up ever taking speed, oh boy, you know I'm desperate. And anyway, the Wompty Dompty Dom Center. It's Wednesday evening, and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. 29-year-old Wonder Twins, Guy and Keith Jost, are the stars of the show, with their bomber jackets and white sneakers. Head curators of this art exhibition, It's the Wumpty Dom, the dommiest event of the year, and all the cool kids have RSPV'd. I thought it was RSVP'd. Okay, whatever. I don't even know what that acronym stands for. R is reserved, but I have no idea. Reserve space. Okay, yeah, I don't know what that means. I really looked up that acronym. Where are you if you are not there? I don't know. -1 suggestion. Well, I will assume it's something artsy that I'm going to get if I do this. So I don't know if I want something artsy. You like to have all your ducks in a row. Everybody went to hope. Yeah. I mean, I could. And at the same time, I could not. I don't know. I'll think of that later. Can I talk to the kid? I can't. I'll wonder about that later. Right now, continue on. Yay!
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
The lieutenant raises the collar of his bomber jacket.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical. How ironic. All these dark rooms. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
You know, a place this big, completely abandoned? What are the chances that Ruby could be in there?
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there. Or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building?
Well, I don't know, and to be perfectly honest, I need a 12. There's no other way I can get it. No, bye. I have no reason to single out this building yet, but it is large. I mean, there's so many places you can hide in here, and if someone were to look for you, you could possibly very easily escape. That's my belief. Ooh, yay, money. Thank you so much. What is this? Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. The fence blocks the path. No way from here. And we get things from the vent. $5. Ah, and nasal spray for health. Yay. I have so much mental... I have so many pills, and comparatively, not a lot of nasal spray. And I said comparatively. 5 is a good amount, but it's... comparatively speaking, it's not much. Can't... Bars cover these long, dusty windows.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years. Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
Kim? Could you make out whatever might be inside?
No. I won't even try. You know,
He takes his glasses off.
I had a partner once. They called him Eyes. Because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
Can you still shoot, though?
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I passed my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
Well, I suppose when you practice enough, it becomes second nature. Although, technically speaking, if your eyesight is that bad, I don't think you should be handling a gun. Just me and, me? That's funny. It's like, that's just me and me. Okay, so we got that. Wait a minute. Are you the cryptozoologist, my dear sir? Tiny cages, carefully constructed. And we get 45 bucks. 45 bucks. 45 cents. These heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes, crumbling. These soggy logs smell of ignition fluid. Still, they won't light up. Hello, folks. Hello?
Go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
Is that it? Is that supposed to be? Wait, are you supposed to be? What was his name again? Oh God, that zoologist guy that had like Australian accent. Jack Hanna. Jesus, is he supposed? Is he supposed to mimic Jack Hanna? Because Jack Hanna was. How many times can you say Jack Hanna? Jesus. Yeah, because he was a zoologist and you are a cryptozoologist. If that was the writer's idea, then yeah, I can see it happening.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Give me one moment. I do kind of want to do a new thought process. The Fairweather T5000. Oh yeah, I wanted to do this. Yes. 6. If I use one, that's 5. Yeah. I just. Yeah, I think I said this vaguely before in the past. But ideally, I want to keep 5 points with me. Reason being is because if I had to do skill checks to progress the story, and then it's like, oh god damn it, I missed it somehow, I have these 5 points to fall back on and keep trying. I don't want to use them all for like thought processes or to delete things simply because, well, if I use them all and I really want to progress the story, I don't want to wait a whole last day and then elongate this game any longer than it needs to be, because I feel like we're only just halfway done. Oh dear. So let's unlock this section. Yes, please. And let's go ahead and study the Fairweather T500. -1 star of warfare for now. It really hurts to punch this armor. A sword wouldn't leave even a scratch. A bullet would bounce right off. Still, there must be some flaw in it that would allow you to stand your ground against this dangerous enemy technology. You just have to figure out what it is. Possibly by beating yourself up while wearing it? Shooting yourself? Why not take a look and see? Alright, let's see how badly this is gonna go. There we go. Oh yeah, there's a cylinder on the ground. Oh no, wait, the narrator read that.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
You guys are not that far away. You could just talk in a slightly elevated tone, not shouting. Jesus, you guys are close enough in an empty space. God. I'm assuming you're Morel, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Well, Lena sent me. You know she's been really worried about you. She's waiting for you at the Whirling in Rags to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
Wow, the 881. That's an interesting way to say 881. Really, is that supposed to be an Australian accent? Huh. I can do a faux Australian accent that's kind of supposed to be British, but it does not work. I mean, I can do it right now. I'll try. It's like, ugh, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock's broken, and we can't well go all the way around the 881. Okay, you know what? When I deepen my voice, I can do it, and I can see how it would be 881. Yeah, I can see how it can be said that way then.
The 881 is a raised motorway that separates Martinaise from Jamrock. The labyrinth of streets underneath it makes it difficult to pass, not like walking over a nice waterlock.
Ixnay on the auto carriage, May. Yeah, well, the waterlock's been fixed. It was fine when I crossed over.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Golly could use a hot shower and a warm bed. Bed. Bed.
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Is this voice actor purposely deepening his voice to do the Australian accent? Because I normally say Gary, but when you deepen, when I deepen my voice, it goes, yes, golly. Oh God. Yes, golly. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long. See, when I deepen my voice, it's just meant to deepen my voice, and then it just goes into like this faux accent. Faux, like as in fake. F-A-U-X. Fake.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting that has come loose in the wind. I'm sorry if I, always delve into these random topics and stuff. It just, so sometimes I like to say random things about myself, and also, make the gameplay a little less stale with just, reading, listening, that mix things up a little bit, right?
His hands are large and weather-worn, but also used to delicate, precise work.
Do you mind telling me about this phasmid you're searching for?
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
And what makes it so difficult?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our present case.
Huh. And what kind of specialised techniques are we talking about?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
And how exactly big is this phasmid?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm, so,
He leaves the conclusion up to you. Oh, well, that does sound interesting, but why are you so interested in this particular stick bug? I'll be honest, it doesn't seem to be as colorful as some of the other cryptids I've heard about.
typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
He shakes his head. Okay, the more I listen to this guy, the less I'm drawing connections to Jack Hanna. I don't even know why my first impression just went to Jack Hanna the zoologist. I really don't know why. Well, actually, I kind of know why. It's because my brain connected this accent with quite possibly Australian. So it's like, Australian, Jack Hanna, there's a connection. But the more I listen to him, the more it's apparent that accent maybe, but the tone and delivery of the words is definitely not Jack Hanna. What have you discovered about it so far, then?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one?
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
The cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement.
I mean, if he responded in such a fashion so quickly, must be.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
Funny, Lena has mentioned that there was a sighting of it here at Martinez.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Sewage runoff? Yeah, I suppose that's true, but if there's sewage runoff, wouldn't that ruin the ecosystem that it could live in? Isn't it possible that it just died out then?
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive.
Huh. Well, I'll admit that is pretty clever.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
I suppose that would be difficult when you're so passionate on a subject. I will assume that's what these traps are for then. Do you mind telling me more about them?
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Oh, your wife designed them.
Yes.
Huh. And how exactly do they work?
Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
I see. And what exactly are you using as bait? I assume you're using more than just locusts.
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
I like how my ad-lib was, and what kind of bait are you using? I assume you're using other things other than locusts, and then locusts. The way it was delivered, locusts. Like, what are you talking about?
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Forgive me for saying this, but I don't think it's likely that this phasmid is carnivorous.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just, voicing opinions based on what I know about this phasmid. But what exactly are you gonna do if these traps don't pan out?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing.
Oh, okay. She clearly does. The trap maker and, well, they're both scientists, I suppose, in their own right. So she wouldn't be able to make this particular trap the way it was if she didn't have an understanding of a cryptid's physiology. I almost said physiology.
Yes. What?
How did you end up becoming a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
Okay, so essentially, your childhood dream that you're living right now out here, right?
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
Yeah, that's fair, but why not just be a regular zoologist? Real animals can be puzzling.
Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does.
No, I was just making an observation and a statement. I do believe that cryptozoology is a profession, just like any other field of science.
Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
Has anything truly surprising ever happened to you?
No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Close enough to keep trying.
Wow, that... Either this person ad-libbed, or he got a script that is totally different than what the writers ultimately went with. I don't know. Oh, wow. I love it when sometimes what the voice actor says does not match with what you're reading. It's like, okay, are you ad-libbing, or did someone change the script without re-recording the scene?
Interesting. Something for later. This close call.
And to be fair, it's very interesting that some scenes would be changed, even so slightly, and not be re-recorded. Although yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because a lot of games really follow the script word for word and have little, if any, deviations from the written aspect. And even if the voice actor ended up ad-libbing, I'm sure they would end up putting into captions what was said instead. So it's kind of interesting that, like, here it says if that's what you're getting at, but I have some close, and then it ends up being slightly different. It's like either the voice actor was ad-libbing, or the writers decided, we didn't like that. We're just gonna put this down. So it's like, I don't know. It's strange for a game like this with such a production that what is said does not match what is written. It feels odd to me. This is clearly a high production game. Well, at least to me, I feel it is. Maybe not AAA studio, but like all the voice acting and all that, the acting production is there. So it's just odd that it doesn't match. Anyway, enough about my gripe there. So what kind of evidence do you use?
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the Phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
He's interested in things that people believe that scientists don't.
So you think that other scientists aren't exactly listening to ordinary people enough?
Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research, and certainly not the truth. They're a cowardly lot, and both the field and basement archives can be dangerous places.
That I will have to agree with you there. I mean, it's easy to just be stuck in a book and end up being there for 10 years before you leave. Though, have you ever discovered a cryptid?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
I meant to say never, and I end up saying ever, and it still worked with what he said. I can't believe it. Never and ever. I mean, yeah, they kind of are the same definition-wise, but sentence structurally, it can make the response different. So I'm surprised me saying ever worked still. So how many cryptids have been found?
list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozootological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long. About 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Wait, so out of 4,082 items, only 2 have been confirmed.
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Grad, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
Well, I will admit, that is definitely dedication to the craft, especially if you are open-minded to the fact that some sightings are hoaxes and are willing to prove it as such. You know? You never know then, in that case. The Insulindian phasmid just very well might be the 3rd discovered. By you.
Indeed. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From Revachol to Dushantu. It will be a zoological miracle.
The hair on your arms stand up. Electricity. Sounds like reeds hissing.
Oh, that's cool. If I did not get that thought, I would not have caught this shiver, because I would have had 9. Oh god. Thank you, Shivers!
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Well, thank you for describing you and what you do. But I'd like to move on to something else.
Yes?
Have you happened to see a woman with red hair around here? Probably seems like she's on the run, maybe a bit nervous.
I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest.
The lieutenant takes a short note in his notebook, then gestures for you to proceed.
Oh, thank you. Then how about we talk about specific cryptids, as mammalian concerns is not of your forte.
Alright. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what.
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but decides against it.
I don't have time for this. The video's going on long enough already, so enough tales then. Let's change the subject.
By all means.
He coughs and wipes his mouth. I am so sorry for leading you on there, but I have no time. Well, it was nice talking with you out here and all, but Lena seems pretty eager for you to return, if I'm to be honest.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
He looks south, where Lena would be.
Come on, Morale. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
I didn't know that the phasmid was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
She's seen it.
Oh, she's seen the phasmid. I honestly don't recall her telling me that.
Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
He coughs, then continues.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Another cough, into his fist this time.
His spirit may be willing, but his body might be too old to endure the rigors of the coast.
And that is commendable, yes. But don't you think, even just for a bit, you could go back to the worldling and warm up? You can always come back to check your traps later.
No, no, no. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the Phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting.
Well, how about we check the traps for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
He looks at you with obvious surprise. Well, you'd be surprised. And if you do think about it, even on a small level, cryptozoology and detective work are similar.
Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence.
So where exactly are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them,
He gestures to the trap in front of him.
you should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
I mean, the pursuit of knowledge is its own justification.
Is it?
He doesn't look too convinced, but the small shrug indicates, why not? So what do I do, Professor, if there's a phasmid in one of these traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
And what if I encounter one in the wild, outside of these traps?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
A week? Sure, why not?
Wise choice.
He douses you with the odd-smelling spray, and then gives you a satisfied nod.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in his pocket. Alright then, let's get to it.
Right. Which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Finally, you stop shouting.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
What about his eager-to-leave friend Gary there? Talk to him too, perhaps.
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. I'll be going now. Yes, I will talk to him in the next episode because this... Thank you, autosave. Because this took much longer than I anticipated. It's like... I don't think I had a single cut in this video. It's almost 55 minutes. It's time to wind it down. And in the next episode, it'll be part 2, sort of, where we talk to Gary and get some more information about, you know, what they're doing here and what to examine. Until then, later everyone.